with the Mid-South iRacing Tour once again for race 3 of our 2022-2023 winter season. We've had 2 good races so far this season. We did 5 flags a couple weeks ago and Hickory last week. So two good races to start off this season. We got a pretty good battle going on in the points. So I'm going to pull that up really quick on screen right here. But yeah, good battle in the points. We've had 2 different winners so far. Currently at the top of the point standings is the 2-time champion, Russo. Right behind him, once again, is Mark Keaton. So the MK Performance Duo, once again at the top of the point standings after 2 races. Third place is Colton Co. 12 points back, and there's a good chance of Wolf rounding out the top 5. So we'll have to keep an eye on our points contenders here tonight. So we'll put up our timing tower on the left side of our screen. We've got 25 cars on the property here tonight. The quickest of those right now being Mike Ashby, who has, I believe, 1 Mid-South iRacing Tour victory. Ashby collecting 1 win in his career. The guy right behind him on the tower, Michael Crafton, also has a win to his name. The guy right there in third, still looking for that first victory here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. 2 right behind them are no stranger to victory lane. We always see them running up front, Mark Keaton and Russo. So we got about a minute left in the practice session. Then we will be sending them to qualifying, and then we're going to be going green flag racing for 75 laps here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. We'll take a quick look around the historic 6/10 of a mile oval. We got a couple different cameras set up around the outside wall here at Wilkesboro. Currently, not really that many people on track, but as Matt Elsie Jr. heads into turns 1 and 2, we have a camera there, and in the center, we got a pretty cool camera going down the back straightaway that we're going to be watching quite a bit from, and entries into both corners and then through the center. We also have this really good shot coming to the start-finish line. So a lot of good camera shots around the North Wilkesboro Speedway here tonight. And as I say that, we are getting ready to qualify. So the checkered flag waves in the practice session, and now we'll put the top 20 on the left side of your screen and get ready to send these guys going for qualifying. They're going to have 2 laps. And remember, folks, if you grab the outside wall, it will invalidate your lap time. So currently on the racetrack, you see on your screen coming out of turn number 4, the number 1 machine of Austin Godfrey. We've seen Godfrey quite a bit here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour in the last couple seasons. As Godfrey makes his way down the back straightaway and into turns 3 and 4, coming around to complete his first timed lap. As he gets the white flag, I believe the best lap we saw in the practice was a 17:94. Godfrey goes to the top, and as I say that, Mike Ashby in the 00 goes to a 17:94. So Ashby carrying over some of that speed from practice into qualifying here. Godfrey slows down a little bit on lap number 2. Russo currently sitting in the 2nd spot. He works out of turn number 4 on lap 2, trying to pick it up, and slows down just a little bit. Couple of other drivers on the racetrack. The Ryan Kuhn Motorsports number 18, the Kinston, Alabama driver Drew Chance, comes to the green on his first lap. And you see him kind of running a peculiar line down there in the middle of turns 1 and 2 as he locks it down, exiting the corner. But we'll watch Michael Crafton here as he tries to make his qualifying effort. But you'll see everybody kind of running a weird line through turns 1 and 2. The corners here at Wilkesboro, very deceiving. It's hard to kind of, it's really hard to get in there well and drive it off through the center, but you see him kind of entering high and running through the center, and then he'll cut it down off the exit of the corner just like that. Get that good run down the back straightaway, and you can really drive into the corner in turns 3 and 4, as you see him do right there. Really able to hug that bottom lane very nicely, and he comes up and out of the corner. And on lap number 1 for Michael Crafton, he goes to the top spot with a 17:92, the fastest lap we have seen tonight. But right as I said it, folks, you got to run a weird line here at Wilkesboro, and right now Michael Crafton has perfected it as he goes to the top of the board. Still got a few more drivers left to take time. So as we wait for them to head onto the speedway, we'll get shots of them as they go. And making his way onto the speedway right here, the WD Broadcasting Network P1 Performance. Graphics by WD number 78, the Fort Wayne, Indiana driver. Coming to the green flag right here, Colton Coe. I actually got the chance to talk to Colton quite a bit this weekend and spent a couple days together, and he actually picked up 2 victories in the iRacing Winter Derby. So Colton putting in a lot of iRacing practice this weekend in the super late model. We're going to see if it's able to help him out here tonight as he comes around and sees the white flag. And lap number 1 for Colton Coe, going to put him 9th quick. He's going to have to pick it up a little bit more if he wants a shot at the top 5. As Ethan Wolf bumps up into the 5th position with an 18:07. Coe on lap number 2, a little bit squirrely out of turn number 4. He's going to pick up a little bit, but stay outside the top 5. We put him 8th quick for now. We think we have 5 drivers still yet to take a time. I don't know if everybody is in the session as of right now, but 20 cars have taken a lap. So right now, Michael Crafton sitting at the top of the standings. Times fairly tight here throughout the top 10, only separated by just a tenth or two. So very competitive front half of the field. Should make for some great racing for 75 laps, and I believe that's going to do it for qualifying. They're going to wrap it up, do a quick drivers meeting, and we'll be right back here on the WD Broadcasting Network for a quick grid rundown before we send them green flag racing for 75 laps. So, folks, right there on your screen, you see the second place starter, and to his inside, the guy who's going to be starting from the pole. But nonetheless, on your screen right now, it is our starting lineup. Starting from the pole, Michael Crafton in the 09 machine. To his outside, the 00 of Mike Ashby. Carter Russo and Mark Keatman, the 2 champions here in the super late model division, are going to break up row number 2. In the 5th spot, it's the Crete, Illinois driver, Ethan Wolf, and rolling off to his outside, Julian Valadez in the 021. Austin Godfrey and Colton Coe making up row number 4. A couple of Indiana guys right there. David Lux and Cooper Ward in row number 5. The 11th spot will be the number 1 machine of Caleb Hill. He's going to have Austin Coe rolling off to his outside in the 12th spot. In the 13th position, it's going to be Galen Clark with John Piet to his outside door. David Hill, Matthew Tucker in row number 8. Row number 9 going to be Chris Schaefer and Michael Dunn. And then rounding out the field, it'll be Drew Chance, Matt Elzey Jr., Jake Brooks, Michael Stillwell, Kenneth Kuko, and Peyton Burkett. But it looks like it's going to cut off right about the 20th spot. A couple guys not making the call here on the grid, so going to be sending 20 race cars to green for 75 laps of racing here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. So we'll put the ticker up at the top of the screen. Crafton going to be bringing us to the green. Last week, Crafton actually started on the pole at the Hickory Motor Speedway and ended up finishing in the 17th spot. He's going to look for a better result here tonight from the same starting position. And Mark Keatman, the number 2 machine, on the top side in that second place spot. He started 4th last week, ended up collecting the victory. He starts 4th here again. We'll have to see how he does. He's got his teammate, the 2-time defending champion, to his inside. Very proven group of drivers in the top 4 here. We're going to see what they can do as they are into turns 3 and 4. And the pace car is going to drop to the bottom side of the racetrack. It's in the hands of Michael Crafton and Mike Ashby out of turn number 4. We are racing here at North Wilkesboro. Leader of lap number 1 will be the number 1 machine of Michael Crafton. Everybody getting single filed out in the top 5. Nice and early battle right here for the 6th position. Colton Coe and Ethan Wolf side by side. You see Coe up top. Not really the preferred lane in here at North Wilkesboro, but it does tend to work every now and then. Is Coe going to fall back in line, get in line in front of his teammate, David Lux? Everybody being patient here early on. Front. Carter Russo took a peek to the inside of the 09 of Crafton right there. Looks like Crafton is able to slam the door shut, but Russo definitely knocking on the back door pretty early on here at North Wilkesboro. One thing we're going to have to keep track of throughout this race is how these guys are going to manage their tires. North Wilkesboro on the iRacing simulator, a very demanding track on the tires, so these guys are going to have to keep them underneath them for all 75 laps. As Crafton right now with a mirror full of the 21 machine of Carter Russo. As Russo's still all over that back bumper. Crafton really just doing a good job of maintaining that gap, not really giving Russo a shot to look to the inside. Just kind of doing what he needs to do to keep that machine out front. And as I say that, the bumper goes to the back of the 09. Russo not able to capitalize though, got a little bit sideways there out of turns 1 and 2. He's still right there on the back bumper. As out back, it looks like Austin Godfrey has had some trouble in the 1 machine. You see everybody from the blimp right here. But Godfrey in the 1 having a little bit of trouble. Might have disconnected from the server. Might have some connection issues, but right here we see Caleb Hill in the number 1 machine. Took a peek to the inside of the 99 of Cooper Ward. Nothing really going to come from it so far. Wilkesboro, a very hard track to pass. It's going to take a lot of maneuvering for these guys to get through the field if they started deep. But up front, Michael Crafton starting to extend that lead from the 21 of Carter Russo just a little bit. Russo kind of slipping back into the clutches of Mike Ashby in the 00. So after 10 laps of racing, Crafton, your leader, Russo second, Ashby third, and Keatman in the 4th spot. Julian Valadez up into the 5th position. Back behind him, Colton Coe takes another look to the inside of the 112 of Ethan Wolf. Just not really going to be able to do anything on the exit of turn number 4. Looks like Coe might have the speed advantage on Wolf here, just trying to find a way around, as it looks like he's going to show the nose here into turns 3 and 4. Wolf trying to come down and slam the door. Looks like Coe's going to back out of it for now. Back behind them, Caleb Hill in the one machine gets to the inside of Cooper Ward in the 99 as they battle. And right in front of them, David Lux gets around Colton Coe. He moves to the inside of Ethan Wolf, trying to take the 6th spot. So David Lux takes the 6th position away from Ethan Wolf on lap 13. Is everything really getting spread out here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway? You see everybody behind them just kind of falling in line, trying to make some laps here. Everybody out back being nice and patient early on here. That's what you like to see. Is on screen right now. David Hill in the 0-3 up top. Matt LZ Jr. And as I say that, Hill comes down the racetrack. An incredible save going into turns 1 and 2. Looks like we're going to stay green, but just some contact there between the two of them. We saw LZ take a peek to the inside, and Hill just kind of came down, tried to slam the door shut, and it was just not soon enough, as he's going to lose a couple spots. He's back to the 17th position. As Michael Crafton starts to extend that lead up front, Carter Russo has been caught by Mark Keepman and Mike Ashby. So Ashby going to set his sights on getting around the 21 of Russo for the 2nd spot. Three cars right there, bumper to bumper for the 2nd position. Looks like Ashby had a nose to the inside right there. Just couldn't really get the throttle down on the exit of turns 3 and 4. He's going to have to slot back in line and try and find another way around the MD Performance number 21. As you see him taking a peek to the inside right here, thought better of it. Tries to roll through the center of the corner. Russo going to give him a lane here out of turn number 4, and we have a battle for the 2nd position. Mike Ashby and Carter Russo side by side into turns 1 and 2. Mark Keaton in the catbird seat right there in the 2. Trying to get in front of Carter Russo. Looks like he's going to let him get back in line. So move Russo back to 3rd. Keatman not able to take advantage of Russo being on the top side right there. But, you know, Mark Keatman, the smart guy, he won the championship last season, might just be, you know, letting everybody get in front of him and save those tires. He's got a long 75 laps of racing. That is a lot to ask out of these tires here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. So Keatman just trying to play the long run game here as we are working lap number 20 right now. Still clean and green. Crafton, your leader, he's got quite an advantage on the number 00 of Mike Ashby, as you see how spread out the field has gotten over these 20 laps. And here's a look at the field going through turns 1 and 2. You see everybody kind of up a lane or two from what you normally see at a racetrack like this. Everybody not really hugging the inside grass. That's kind of the preferred line here at North Wilkesboro. Get down to the bottom in 3 and 4 and kind of roll the middle of the top in turns 1 and 2. You see a lot of guys, especially over the course of a long run, once you get the tires burnt off, trying a lot of different lines, seeing what exactly works. Wilkesboro, definitely a very interesting track here on the iRacing.com simulator. So right here, Crafton really extending that lead. Ashby's kind of pulled away from Carter Russo in the 3rd spot. As Russo now got a mirror full of Mark Keatman. Saw a little bit of contact there in the center of turns 1 and 2. Keatman might be starting to push the dials here, trying to find a way around. 23 laps in, still leading is Michael Crafton, but right now the battle is for that 3rd spot. Keatman just patiently waiting behind his MK Performance teammate Carter Russo. That'll only happen for so long, especially in the Super 8 models here on the iRacing.com simulator. As you see a little bit more bumper-to-bumper contact there. Keatman's starting to get a little bit impatient behind the 21 of Russo. He gets a little bit more right there. Russo definitely going to have to find some speed here if he wants to maintain that 3rd position, as Keatman is all over the back bumper. Actually, Julian Valadez starting to catch those guys up front as well. So with Russo right here in front of Mark Keatman, that's allowing Julian Valadez to catch him. Is out back, Drew Chance making the pass on Matt LZ Jr. for the 14th spot. He's going to bring Matthew Tucker with him in the 7. So Tucker able to get around Elsie. Looks like Elsie's going to fire back on the top side. Wilkesboro doing a great job of creating some really good racing for these guys. Looks like Elsie just kind of missed his line right there in the turns 3 and 4 and went up the racetrack. Didn't really have any way of rolling the top right there. Because right here we see what I was talking about earlier. These guys battling so hard for that 3rd spot is allowing everybody else behind them to catch them. Mark Keatman right there underneath the 21 of Russo almost into turns 1 and 2. That kind of checked up Julian Valdez and David Lux behind him. As Keatman now looking to the inside off of turn number 4. Russo just getting that run off the top, able to maintain the spot for now. Carter Russo, more contact in the center of the corner there. Mark Keatman really starting to get impatient behind his teammate, trying to find a way around. Looks like Russo just able to hold the bottom lane just enough so Keatman can't dip his nose under there. And back behind them, Colton Coe and Ethan Wolf going at it again, this time for the 7th spot. So as Coe dips to the inside, we'll watch them as they go through turns 1 and 2. And oh, contact right there. You see Julian Valadez in the 21, or sorry, the 021. Looks like we'll stay green. Everybody checking up on the exit of turns 1 and 2 right there. But you saw Valadez sliding into turn 1. I don't really know what exactly happened. He might have gotten tagged from behind from the 40 car of David Lux, but that's going to shuffle things up dramatically as Carter Russo is going to be able to sneak away from the 4th place driver. So Valadez right now collects the 3rd position. Keatman going to fall back, but Colton Coe moved up into the 6th spot right there as David Lux and Ethan Wolf kind of just fell behind him. Everybody doing a nice job of keeping that one green. We just about had a caution there. But so far, clean and green through 35 laps. As you see Keatman right here taking a peek to the inside of Julian Valadez. Valdez giving him plenty of room up on the top side. We're going to see if Keatman's able to get the front end turn out of turn number 2. Looks like he made it work pretty well. He's going to have a shot at it into turns 3 and 4. You see right there, Valadez was able to roll the top in turns 1 and 2 just because he was able to hold Keatman down. He wasn't able to get the run off the corner, but Keatman just able to roll that bottom so much better in turns 3 and 4. It's really creating for a good matchup right here as they're dead even going into turns 3 and 4. Keatman going right back to the bottom side. Might have Valdez cleared right here. Looks like he does, and he comes up the racetrack. So move Mark Keatman back into the 4th spot. He's going to have to set his sights on the number 21 of Carter Russo. You see right there on your screen a little bit of lap traffic in front of your leader, Michael Crafton, who has a 2-second advantage on Mike Ashby. And it's another 2 seconds back to Carter Russo in the 3rd spot. So Crafton really setting sail here. Just past the halfway point. Crafton setting really an unbelievable pace. Just able to inch out lap times that are a little bit faster than Mike Ashby every single lap. As right here you see Drew Chance and John Piette battling for the 13th spot. Chance qualified back in the 19th position. He's trying to just slowly work his way through the field. He's really going to need a caution if he wants any shot at a top 10 finish here. So Chance able to safely get around the 5 machine of John Piette. Is up front, Crafton, your leader here, 40 laps in. I believe this is probably the longest green flag run we've seen this season. It's really going to start pushing these guys on their tire strategy. As we'll see what exactly the number 09 machine is doing to save his tires, and we'll go on board for a couple laps with our leader, Michael Crafton. folks, one thing about, like right here, you see him just putting as little input into the wheel as he can, going through the center of the corner. That's how he's trying to save tires, and that's the best way to do it here on iRacing. It's really hard to save tires, especially in these super late models, but turning the wheel as little as you can definitely helps keeping the rubber fresh. As we look in on Mark Keatman in the 4th spot, trying to reel in his teammate Carter Russo in the 21, but as things get more spread out here, 46 laps into this one, it's really going to take a lot for Mark Keatman to have a shot back at the top 3. As right here you see on your screen right here, Keatman just a little bit quicker than Carter Russo that last time around. So Keatman just really trying to click off lap times that are better than Russo's. So Keatman definitely starting to close the gap here. You see he's a little bit quicker every time around. As we are approaching the lap 50 mark here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Crafton still your leader, actually putting a couple cars a lap down here. One of those being the 32 machine of Chris Schaefer and Michael Dunn right there in front of him, as well as David Hill and Matt Elzy Jr. So a couple guys at risk of going a lap down here under the green flag condition. Something we don't really see a lot here with the Mid-South iRacing Tour. Luckily, these guys getting a very good green flag run in here. Gone 50 laps green. Michael Crafton still your leader and still running a little bit quicker than Mike Ashby. As we'll put their last time, or their times from the last lap up there, just see who exactly is quick and who's not right now. You see Keatman still a little bit quicker than Carter Russo, so the battle for the 3rd spot should be heating up here shortly as you see him closing the gap there. It's down to about 5 car lengths as they enter turns 1 and 2. So with 20 laps to go, I believe Keatman should be to the back bumper, and we'll see how hard he tries to get around the number 21. And you see Carter Russo just really struggling right there to get the nose turn on the 21 machine as you see him kind of sliding the tires. You hear him in the center of the corner there. A lot less throttle time right here in the later stages of the race compared to when they were first going green. And we got the bumper there from the 2 machine and Mark Keatman. You saw him slide into the corner. Good save by Carter Russo to keep the number 21 pointed in the right direction. And that's going to open up the door for Julian Valadez in the 5th spot to try and make a move on Mark Keatman. It looks like Keatman's going to pull away for now. As we come to 21 laps to go this time, and the battle on the racetrack is for that 3rd position. So Russo has been caught by Keatman. Keatman patiently waited behind him for a while there in the early stages of this race, but I don't see him being very patient here right now as you see him getting the bumper right there once again to the back bumper of Carter Russo. A little bit more bumper tag into turns 1 and 2. A little bit more contact there. Keatman going to have to get out of the gas. That's going to open up the door for Julian Valadez. So Valadez not quite able to get around Mark Keatman. But Keatman really having a hard time getting around his MK Performance teammate, Carter Russo. You know what they say, you race your teammates harder than you race anybody else, whether you mean to or not. You see right here, Carter Russo not making it easy on the number 2 machine of Mark Keatman. So now 18 laps to go. Michael Crafton has an amazing advantage over Mike Ashby, but right here, he's kind of starting to lose a little bit of that gap. It's down to about 2 seconds. Earlier we saw it up to about 3. So Ashby slowly starting to close the gap, but if he wants any shot at the victory here, it's really going to take a miracle for the Justin Brooks Designs 00 to see victory lane here tonight. As you see, there's the 00, and all the way up in front of him is the number 09 of Michael Crafton. And we have our first yellow flag of the event. The 28 machine of Austin Co. going around, and slides up right in front of the leaders. Crafton had to take evasive action to avoid him right there. We'll take a look at what happened. That'll put us under yellow for the first time here tonight on lap 59 out of 75. So you see going into turns 1 and 2 right here, the 28 on the outside lane. It looks like Caleb Hill in the 1 just gets in a little bit too hot and goes through the center right there and grabs the left rear quarter panel of the Cohegan Air number 28. So that puts us under yellow for the very first time here tonight, as we are 61 laps into this one as they come around this time by. Crafton, your leader, but he's going to have Mike Ashby on his back bumper on this restart. And with the lap times that we were seeing Mike Ashby click off towards the end of that long green flag run, this could be an interesting battle between the two of them up front. As we put the top 20 cars on the left side of your screen, currently 16 on the lead lap. So Michael Crafton going to give up that 2-second lead that we saw him maintain for most of that run, because that's going to really open this one up. We're going to have to see if Mark Keatman's able to work around the outside of Carter Russo on this restart. We mentioned how easy it is to kind of pinch somebody down to the bottom, so if Keatman gets a good restart here, he might be able to shoot around Russo and maybe challenge for the win with Mike Ashby and Michael Crafton, but we'll see as we're going back green flag racing this time by at North Wilkesboro. So as the field makes their way through turns 3 and 4, we're going to be sending them back to green with 12 laps to go. You see the iRacing.com pace car dropping off of the speedway. Michael Crafton going to go nice and early. Mike Ashby's going to be right there on his door. A little bit of contact with the 21 of Carter Russo. And Ashby's going to go up the racetrack, move Carter Russo into the second spot, as we have a yellow flag out back. Don't really know what exactly happened there, but the caution flag is out. So we'll take a look at what happened, as that'll put us under yellow for the second time here tonight. So right here on your screen, you see the 18 and Drew Chance way up in the top lane. Looks like Cooper Ward in the 99 just may have lost the nose there through the center of the corner on the old tires and grabbed the left rear of Drew Chance, sending him around, and that'll put us under yellow for a second time here tonight. You see right here on your screen, everybody in the top 3 getting those tires cooled down on the grass on the bottom side of the racetrack. Just trying to get those left side tires cooled off so they can get some grip through the center of the corner. As we saw in that restart, Carter Russo got into the 00 of Mike Ashby and it made his way into the second spot, but that's going to line up Mike Ashby right back in the third position where Carter Russo just was. So we might see a little bit of contact going into turns 1 and 2, depending on how Mike Ashby wants to deal with getting back around the 21. But with the lap times we were seeing Carter Russo run towards the end of that long green flag run and the pace he was setting, I don't know if he's going to have anything for the 09 of Michael Crafton. But folks in the chat below, I want to hear your thoughts. Will it be Michael Crafton, who's led this entire race flag to flag so far? Will it be the 2-time champion Carter Russo? Will Mike Ashby collect his second victory in the Mid-South iRacing Tour, or will it be Mark Keatman in the 2 machine? We're going to find out here as we are setting the field back green flag racing this time by. You see the lights off on the iRacing.com pace truck. So as Crafton and Russo make their way into turns 3 and 4. We're going to watch it from our camera on the front straightaway here. As the pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack, Crafton goes way early that time. They try and have an advantage on Carter Russo going into 1. Looks like Russo not able to get down in line. Carter Russo going to try and roll the top side down the back straightaway. He's got a nose in there. Russo really holding Crafton down tight on the bottom side of the racetrack. He's just not able to make it work through the center of turns 3 and 4 to move Carter Russo into the second spot. Here comes Mike Ashby making a challenge for that second position. He's down the back straightaway. Crafton still your leader. Ashby kind of leaning on Carter Russo there through the center of turns 3 and 4, trying to get back around. Russo just able to get the run off of the exit of the corner. Ashby slides into the corner. That scares Russo up the racetrack, and Russo gets tagged. Contact behind him. Russo going to lose several spots. Mike Ashby climbing the wall. Julian Valadez making contact with Carter Russo, and with all of that, we might stay green. And oh, David Lux gets tagged. And that will bring out the caution flag. So we saw it all unfold right there. Carter Russo going into turns 1 and 2. Just got a little bit squirrely and slid up the racetrack, and that opened the door for Mike Ashby. And Ashby went to the bottom side of the racetrack. There was a little bit of contact, and Russo got into the wall, and they both climbed the wall into turns 3 and 4, but everybody just kind of piled in. We'll take a look at what happened that put us under caution for the third time here tonight. So here's a quick look at our WD Broadcasting drone camera. You see him going into turns 1 and 2 right here. Ashby kind of scares Carter Russo up the racetrack. Russo tries to defend Ashby at the bottom, just comes down the racetrack a little bit. They both go into the outside wall. Valadez makes contact right there. And if you look at the 40 machine of David Lux, just gets tagged right there by Matthew Tucker in the 7. Really nowhere for Tucker to go as Lux was trying to avoid a spinning Valadez and Russo. So that puts us under yellow for the third time. As the field makes their way into turns 3 and 4. Not quite ready to send them back green flag racing, but we're going to have a green-white checkered here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And look who's into that second spot. Mark Keatman, who had a little bit of trouble getting around Carter Russo, just wasn't able to get around him. But now with Russo out of the way, he's going to have a shot to take the victory away from Michael Crafton, who we've seen lead the majority of this race. 72 laps he's led so far. Actually, sorry, 75, as we are past our scheduled 75 laps. The light's still on in the iRacing.com pace truck, so not going to send them back green this time by. But with a couple more drivers in the top, in the top 5 right here, we're going to have a few different faces trying to get the victory. And of those top 4 drivers, Michael Crafton and Mark Keatman, the only 2 of those top 5 that have a win here. So Colton Coe, Ethan Wolf, and Julian Valadez all fighting for their first victory here in the Super Late Model Division. So will it be Crafton, Keatman, or will we see a new winner here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour? We're going to find out here in 2 laps as the lights are off on the iRacing.com pace truck, and we're going to be setting them green this time out of turn number 4. So the pace truck pulls to the inside of the racetrack. Keatman going to have to get a good start here. Looks like he's able to. They're going to be side by side going into turns 1 and 2. So Crafton on the bottom, Keatman up top. Battle of the veterans of the league here. Keatman, the winningest driver in Mid-South iRacing Tour history. Crafton He has 1 win to his name. And oh, Ethan Wolf gets tagged in the center of turns 3 and 4. There's contact behind him. They take the white flag. No caution out. So it's going to be Colton Coe, Michael Crafton, and Mark Keatman, your top 3 down the back straightaway. Mark Keatman on the top. Crafton down low. Keatman going to try and back off and get to his bumper through the center of the corner. Keatman going to try the crossover move out of turn number 4. Looks like Michael Crafton going to hang on. Despite the effort there from Mark Keatman, he tried the crossover move into turns 3 and 4, just came up a little bit short. And Michael Crafton collects his 2nd career victory in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. Mark Keatman going to come home 2nd, and Colton Coe going to come home 3rd after running in the top 5 for the majority of this one. So a good run from our top 3 competitors and a great race here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. We'll be back from interviews and a replay of that last lap incident in just a couple moments. So, folks, here we are back on the WD Broadcasting Network. And now we're going to get a word from our top 3. I don't believe I see our winner, Michael Crafton, here in the voice channels, but nonetheless, we'll get a word from our 3rd place finisher here, Colton Coe. Well, Colton, we saw you start, I believe, back in the 8th position, and then you just kind of worked your way up methodically and found yourself sitting in the 3rd spot at the end. Tell me how your race went.
Just an interesting one. Early on, I was expecting consistent caution because that's what's been the like theme here in this league. But we went almost 60 green, I think. So I tore up my right front a lot. under yellow made a brake bias change. It came to life. I was able to just get up there and make do for others' misfortune. Yeah, that's how I got up to third. I guess I definitely didn't have a third place car. It was probably top five, but I'll take third.
Yeah, and as you said right there, the consistent yellow is definitely it's hard to tell yourself to manage your tires when you're expecting yellow flags. So, um, North Wilkesboro here tonight, obviously one that's going to eat up your tires. And considering you ate your tires here tonight and we go to Myrtle Beach next week, how do you make that adjustment and not burn up your tires?
Well, last time at Myrtle Beach, I ran second to Keatman, so or maybe it was recent. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. So I think I'm pretty good there. I know how to save tires there, so I think I'll be all right on that front. But I just wasn't expecting green flag runs because that's not the normal thing here. But I guess I'll be prepared for anything next time.
Yeah, and as you said, not really the normal thing here, but glad we got a really good green flag run in here tonight and had a lot of green flag racing. But before we finish things off here, I'd like to give you a second to thank anybody you got to thank to help you get into the third spot here tonight.
I'd like to thank my dad for watching the streams, giving me tips on how to be fast there, and P1 Performance for supporting me and everything I do. I'd like to thank you for streaming these leagues and getting this out there. You do a great job every single week. I'd like to thank Coheating Air Conditioning, Street Big Construction, Panacea Powder Coatings, and Gary Crossgrove Paintings. And yeah, that's about it.
Alrighty, well, third place here tonight, and we wish you luck next week at the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Good night.
Alrighty, folks. Well, that was our third place finisher, Colton Coe. And I'm going to try and get Mark Keatman in here for a quick word. But if not, we'll hear from him at some point this season. But I'm going to try and get Mark Keatman in here for a quick word before we wrap things up here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And as you see here on your screen right here, you might be able to notice, but North Wilkesboro actually configured in the 1987 version, the way that iRacing brought it to us. Maybe we'll get a new scan of what it kind of looks like nowadays as the Cup Series running the All-Star race next year there, and there's going to be some more late model stock races there as well. So maybe we'll get a new scan. We'll see a different version of the North Wilkesboro Speedway on iRacing, but until then, we're going to be with this 1987 configuration, as I don't believe Mark Keatman is in any of the voice channels here, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Oh, as I say that, there is Mark, so I'm going to bring him up really quick. Well, Mark, we just about missed you, but ended up second here tonight. You had a hard time getting around your teammate Carter Russo, but all in all, it worked out, and you finished in the second place spot here.
Yeah, it was a long green flag run. I think it's probably the longest run we've had all season, but I was definitely faster than Carter. You know me. I have respect for other racers out here, and I'm not just gonna, wreck them for the fucking spot. But it was fun. It was a hell of a race between me and Crafton there for the green white checkered. I wasn't just gonna junk him for the win either. Like I said, I got more respect than that. But it was a fun race. Just wish I would have been a little closer to the front there at the end. Probably would have had a little bit of a chance at it.
Yeah, and as you said right there, a good battle between you and Crafton coming on the line just 9/100ths of a second. So really, really close between the two of you. You tried the crossover move, just didn't work out. Next week, though, we head to the Myrtle Beach Speedway, which if I do think about it correctly, you might have won the last race there. So how do you keep this forward momentum going into Myrtle Beach?
We actually didn't win the last race there. Got in the back of Carter.
Oh, that's that race. Okay, now
got it.
I remember this one.
Upset the car, and I got ran over from behind trying to check up for him, so I didn't wreck him. Probably wasn't the smartest move. Probably just should have taken the EOL for that race, but we've had some good success in Myrtle Beach. The second to last race there, we won that one on a last lap pass for the win. We're pretty good there. That's just going to be about tire conservation. Going to just have to hopefully qualify up front, ride around for a little while, and really make a charge there for the end.
Yeah, and I talked to Colton about this, but tire saving really came into play here tonight at at North Wilkesboro. Myrtle Beach, as you know, is demanding on tires. What can you do to maybe keep your number 2 up in the front and keep the tires really there for the end of it and potentially find a victory? I kind of just asked this just a different way.
Like I said, just gonna have to hopefully qualify up front in a really good spot. That way we can settle down in line and ride around for a little while and conserve those tires. Tires are really big at Myrtle Beach, always have been, and just hopefully we can be up front near the end and make a late race charge to get that win if we're not already leading it.
Alrighty, well, you finished second here tonight, and we wish you luck next week at the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Yes, sir. Thanks for broadcasting, Winston, as always.
Yep. Alrighty, folks, that was Mark Keatman. I do apologize for a little bit of the language that Mark used there, but, sometimes in short track racing, the tempers do get the best of you. But I do want to apologize for that. But nonetheless, that's going to wrap it up here tonight at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. I would like to thank everybody that tuned in and came out to support the stream. I would like to encourage you to share it around to your friends if you like what you saw here on the WD Broadcasting Network. But we look forward to seeing you guys back tomorrow night right here for the WD Broadcasting Super Series, and then Sunday night with the Mid-South iRacing Tour 358 Modified. So good couple races to end out this week, and then we'll see you guys next week on Tuesday night with the Crown Jewel Super Late Model Division. So had a lot of fun here tonight at North Wilkesboro, but thank you everybody for tuning in. I am your host, Winston Deal. That's going to do it for tonight. Have a good rest of your week, and y'all take it easy.